Hey guys, Marcin here bringing another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle video, and so today we are going to be taking a little look here back at the physical Super Saiyan trio that released during the worldwide celebration of 2024 and seeing how well they cope in one of the new Red Zone stages. We're doing the Vegeta story version of the Future Trunks saga. Shout out to Weaver Class in the Discord, posted a run with this team, and I thought it'd be interesting to try out these guys again, because the team is essentially them kind of stuck among all of these newer LRs, and of course obviously the 7-year EZAs, right? But their EZAs are brand new. So we've got all these anniversary units, we've got Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks. We're not running the new Gogeta or Vegito, we're running the Gods lead. So it's a 200% lead. As far as I know, I'm just trying to double check it off the top of my brain, but the physical trio do not yet have a 220% lead. So when they get one, I think we could definitely see a bit of a resurgence for these guys. I think these guys have been waning in popularity because when they first released, they were really good as like a slot 1 unit, and as content has gotten more difficult, they're not quite as good in that role in their base form. Obviously they still have the ability to stand by into this Goku, who then is very much like basically invincible in slot 1, right? And it's only a 1-turn standby, so he's not as reliable as a tank potentially as some of these other standbys that you can keep up for 2 rotations, but he can still be very good. And so this team, he's obviously surrounded by a bunch of powerful characters. If we're running the Gods as like rotation units on both turns, then he's always going to have a Movie Heroes ally, because I think that's the one thing that kind of started to slip with these guys. They're really good because they can provide the all allies defense 77% for 2 turns, but only when there's another Movie Heroes or all out struggle character in the same turn, which isn't necessarily like a super difficult thing to be able to do for them, but it just means you can't just throw them on any team that you want, right? Like if a unit does come out that gives them a 220% leader, but that unit isn't a Movie Hero or all out struggle character, then obviously you can run them on that team, but you've then got to build the team in such a way that they are going to have that ally. And if that is possible, especially if you can have one on both rotations, they could still then be a really good like sort of floating support for that team, giving a ton of defense to the units on the next or that rotation and the next rotation, right? Just a quick one before we get into the main topic of the video here. I want to give a shout out to everyone who has been checking out the channel during the anniversary. We've been having a lot of new people come through the channel, and as you can see from the YouTube analytics, almost half the people watching these videos during the anniversary are not subscribed to the channel. So do go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you are new around here. We are getting so close to getting to 30,000 subscribers on the channel, which will be an awesome milestone to hit by the end of the anniversary. So if you've been enjoying the content and want all the future Dokkan content, not going to stop covering this game anytime soon, then do subscribe to the channel and yeah, enjoy the rest of the video. So we're going to try them out here and see how we get on. We've got the Gods team is obviously very, very good. The Gods themselves very good. We've got both of them on the same turn, but we do at least have the Super Saiyan 4s on the next turn ready for the slot 1 duty over there. I guess we'll probably just keep the 4s and the Super Saiyan 3 Goku together, because once we get Goku to transform, obviously he's going to be on the opposite rotation to the physical trio, which means when he then super attacks, they're going to get that 44% buff ready for the next turn, and we'll see just what we can get out of them here performance wise in this run on the 220 lead team. Obviously the Gods will be their Movie Heroes ally, so they're providing everybody with so much extra defense. It's going to be very interesting to see what the Gods defense is on turn 2 when they're paired up with these guys, right, and getting that extra 77% defense. So we get all our additionals off here in turn 1, see if we get the hidden potential as well. That would be great here for the first turn for the Gods. Is this super attack number 3? Is this an additional number 3? I think it is. So do we get one after this? Because they're always going to get on the first turn the extra one, and if you get enough ki. We got the hidden potential, but it was only a normal. Shame. Alright, well, that's fine. So they got their 4 supers in the first turn, and then these guys still at 14.6. Obviously they're not meant to be an insane damage dealer in their base, right, because they're providing a lot of utility. One thing that is also very good about them is that they have the additionals are able to lower attack. So especially in like the new Formidable Foes event, that can be something that can be very useful. But of course, in that event, bosses hitting as hard as they are, it's very possible for them to get caught with a super. So I do think in the current meta, they are very much not the slot 1 unit that they kind of were on release. I mean, the thing is, when they came out for Global, well, they came out at the same time for both versions, obviously, but Global had only recently had the anniversary. There were times during runs against like the Blue Zone, Blue Gogeta, where that final phase is STR. I only had them at 55%, and I had runs where they were just getting cooked by Gogeta. So thanks to them finally returning on banners for the anniversary, I do have 2 dupes for them now. So we've got the bottom right and top left path open, so we've got all of their hidden potential abilities. Obviously they got their unique skill orbs during the worldwide, and by getting those 2 paths open, finally able to give them a gold skill orb. So I'll have to double check what build I've actually given them, but obviously it's a very solid first turn, right? Both the gods getting off a bunch of supers, getting their stacks, getting the support from the trio here. So we'll see how we're looking on this next rotation, see what everyone's defense is looking like. But yeah, the gods, ideally these guys could get their hidden potential one since they're getting floated off, and we won't see them for a couple of turns here, but this gives us a chance to get your abilities here. Gohan is just kind of thrown on the team. I just, like I say, copied the build that we posted in the Discord, but I imagine you can probably sub out Gohan for anyone else you want, really. He's just another very good Power Beyond Super Saiyan character that fits on the God's leader skill. So of course he's on Kamehameha, so everyone on Kamehameha is getting 4 ki and 200%. So let's see. Actually, that's a good point. The trio yeah, Goku does the Kamehameha, right, as part of the super. I didn't actually double check, but they've got to be on Kamehameha, right? Because everyone on the team is getting the full lead. So, but yeah, it'll be very interesting to see when a 220 lead comes out for these guys, especially if the unit is a really good link partner for them as well. And of course, the ideal scenario, as we've already said, is that if that unit comes out and is a movie hero or all-out struggle character, because like I said, that's the one thing about them that I will definitely say that I don't like, right, is they're not a unit. Like, we've done challenge runs on streams before where people suggest like theme teams and stuff like that, and like, you know, if you're making like a Super Saiyans team, for example, you can't just throw them on the team unless you have the specific ally for them, because their performance is considerably worse, because it's not just the defensive support for 2 turns that they give with that ally, it's the fact that they get a little bit of extra damage reduction as well, and without that it's very noticeable in like difficult events. So Super Saiyan 3 Goku getting the 70% dodge chance there against Goku Black. That's what we love to see. And then Gohan able to get some attacks off here, get some build up. Gohan's not a great unit for floating because he does build up by attacking, but he obviously can be a solid unit here. I guess for this run in particular, I think maybe Gohan's on the team because the final phase is int. So he's just another good physical unit to have on the team. So let's see. We got a bunch of supers off with the gods. We've got the support from the trio. Turn 2, gods are at 1.14 million defense, so that is pretty good. I think the gods, the trio's like support is factored in like straight away, is it not? So the only downside obviously for these kind of scenarios is if they decide to super attack straight away in slot 1, the gods can still get caught, because how much damage does this Rose do? 2.5 million. So, I mean, they have 1 million defense, they have guard, that kind of cuts it. I think it cuts it in half. Wow, I don't know if it is exactly half. People have discussed this in the comments and in the streams multiple times, and I'm still not 100% sure on how guard affects the enemy damage. Because if it cuts it in half, it makes it 1.25, and they have 1.14 million defense. So, in theory, they should still tank very well in slot 1 here against Rose if he supers. And then obviously if they get to super first, then they will be fine. And then these guys, they do change orbs to physical, which is helpful. They give all allies 3 ki and 50% attack. Not themselves, but that's obviously still very useful. They get extra ki per ki sphere. And then the big thing with them is they get extra defense for every ki, like 3 ki. So you obviously need to make sure you're getting full ki with them every time, which is an interesting It's a much better version of a passive than, say, like the Family Kamehameha Gohan when he's in his standby, where it's like the number of orbs you get, not the amount of ki. Because these guys get so much extra ki from orbs, it's very easy to get get them up to 24 ki, and then that means they're getting the full possible like bonus when they get attacked, right? So they're at 440k. They don't have guard, do they? They're effective against all types with 24 ki, which we have. They get an extra 30% damage reduction if they're taking a super. So if they get supered, overall they have 45% damage reduction. And then, of course, their supers, they are greatly raising attack and defense for 3 turns. So let's go ahead and do this. Not grabbing those tech orbs for some reason. I guess that's just because there's so many int orbs. So yeah, let's go ahead and do this. See how we get on here. Actually, this Rose does super in slot 1. I was going to say, I just remembered this guy supers in slot 1 a lot. So, still 482. Okay. I mean, that's not the worst overall. Plus, I mean, him getting the super out of the way in slot 1 means that we are pretty much guaranteed to be able to tank the rest of the attacks on the turn for double-digit damage. And then that means we're going to get the Super Saiyan 3 Goku transformation straight away on the next turn. So one of the reasons why that Super Saiyan 3 Goku can be so useful is that you have the turn condition, which is perfectly designed so that it's like when his dodge and like extra defensive tech runs out, you can then transform straight away and you're not going to get caught like you can with the Blue Voice with no limits. But you can also trigger it early if you lose HP. So if you take a big hit on turn 1 and he's on turn 2, you can use it straight away, which is obviously very effective because the Goku is very, very good. And as a link partner for the Super Saiyan 4s, very, very good, right? So these guys at 15 mil here. Again, the attack stats, they're not terrible, but they're not the sort of crazy numbers that we are now kind of used to seeing. But these guys are more of a utility and support. They also have the potential to get these few extra additionals off, so it's not the end of the world if their initial super isn't like the biggest, right? So see what they get here. I forgot to look at their build again, but additional's doing 10 mil. Obviously this guy can't be attack lowered, but every additional super obviously helps here a little bit as well. Rose does build up attack by being hit. Is it? Oh, he gets 60% attack and defense after receiving 8 attacks. So even with his increased attack, they're still taking double-digit damage from him. So I think realistically they are still very good in the current meta as long as they're not in slot 1, because that could be very dangerous for them, especially in this kind of event where this Rose does pretty much super in slot 1 almost guaranteed, which is interesting because according to the stats on the wiki, his percentage chance for attacks to be a super is like 40%, but it is basically always in slot 1. So I'm not really sure on that one, to be honest. So what we get there at 1.3, because this Goku gives so much support. But yeah, let me double check. I wanted to check their build and just to make sure they are on Kamehameha, because they should be, because I guess Goku is doing one, but that's not what the super attack is actually called. But yeah, they are, because otherwise they wouldn't be on the 200% lead for this team. But yeah, the build that I have for them currently is 17 additional, 9 crit and 12 dodge. I could definitely see giving them like a full dodge build if you want to use them as a support and not have to worry as much, but let's go ahead and do this. So we're getting the Giant Ape transformation out of the way here, and then that's Rose's super will be cancelled out after he super attacks in slot 1. So let's do that. We'll leave all those physical orbs there ready for the Super Saiyan 4s. Because obviously with guard and the defense that they've stacked up from the previous turn, and of course the fact that once Goku transforms into Super Saiyan 4, he's then giving them extra defense and 10% damage reduction, they're going to be perfectly fine to tank in slot 1. So this is one of those teams I think that is a good example of, you know, even though we've moved up to 220% leads and the anniversary content, these last few stages of these red zones, they are quite tough. But it's not like, you know, 220% teams are just completely out of the picture now and you can only win these new events with 220 leads. And a part of that is down to largely, of course, how good the 7-year LR EZAs are, because they are obviously the powerhouses of this team. I mean, the new anniversary LRs, Goku, Gohan, they are very good as well, of course, but with this ability to go in slot 1 and also be putting out like some wild damage, these guys are obviously very, very good. So what we'll do here, we could transform the Super Saiyan 4s because their transformation is available already. However, because we know that we're now not going to get supered because we've used the Giant Ape to cancel it out, we're at 1.4 million defense with 10% damage reduction as well, and obviously still guard. So realistically, even if he supered, the gods took, what was it, 400k on that turn before? Not only do we have 200k more defense, but we have 10% damage reduction that they didn't have. So even if these guys did actually get supered in slot 1 here, they would be taking, what, like 100k at most, but potentially even only double-digit damage. So these 7-year LRs, super good. Because, of course, remember, we are still getting the 77% defense from the previous turn, thanks to the physical trio. And now we're going to get, on this turn, Super Saiyan 4 Goku's 18-key super off, which is then going to give everyone on the next rotation the extra 44% attack and defense. It doesn't matter if we kill him this turn, as long as Super Saiyan 4 Goku gets to attack. And then we'll get to see the stats for the trio and everything on the next, because they've been at around 400k, 4 to 500k defense start of turn, but they obviously, that's not a great representation because they're getting so much extra key when they get hit, or so much extra defense when they get hit based on how much key you've collected, and it's instantaneous, right? It's not one of those things where they have to take a hit, get hit for potentially quite a large amount of damage, and then the next hit, like, their defense has gone up, right? They get that defense boost as soon as they're getting hit. So we'll see what it is at the start of the next turn, and then we'll do the calculation here. I'll get the calculator up and work out how much, because is it 30% per 3? I'll double check it again. Because if it's 30% per 3 key, then it means at 24 key they get that stack 8 times, which would be 8 times 30. Should be 240%. It's quite a lot. So let's see. Gods get their attacks off here. Are they going to finish them off here? It'd be good for them to finish them off so we can get like a fresh phase to start with the gods, but I think with the trio. But unless we get some cruel, we're going to get close. If they crit on this one, this might be enough. Are they going to finish them off here? Not quite. And we don't get another one. Damn. Typical. Alright, well, at least we can see the start of turn stats and everything. I guess we won't bother wasting the God's transformation here. But, so, we're going to get some extra links active with the Gods, because with Gohan. So we've got 570k defense start of turn. And we've got, what? We're missing Golden Warrior, Z Fighters, and Saiyan Warrior Race. So, I don't think you... Oh, yeah, you have Saiyan Warrior Race. There we go. So now we're just missing Golden Warrior and Z Fighters. Saiyan Warrior Race gives... Is it just attack? Yeah, 10%. So the defense is 569. So basically 570k. And yeah, it is 30% for every 3 key. So 240. So 570k plus 240%. So when they get hit, their defense jumps up to 1.93 million. And of course, you've got to remember that they're going to super first as well. So their defense after they've attacked is well over 2 million. And if they were to get hit by a super, they have 45% damage reduction as well. So that means that somewhere in the region of around 4 million damage, they would be able to tank that kind of super for almost double digits, which is obviously very, very good. The Gods here now at 2 million defense. So they're obviously going to be able to tank... the super in slot 1 here. So I guess what we'll do is there's no point transforming them, because I guess we might as well just do this. We'll just get another stack on their base, and then we'll go ahead and do this, and we'll do this. But poor Gohan's just kind of there on the team and not really had to do anything. I suppose it's one of those things, you could replace him with like a support unit maybe, but then you do run the risk that there'll be some turns where he will be on rotation and you don't kill the boss and then he gets tagged. But he's kind of just there. He's kind of just there. But he's a great unit. But one more super for the Gods, so one more stack for them. And then the 4s, now as we go into this Zamasu phase, they're at 2 million defense. I mean, will we even get another turn if we transform into Gogeta here? Maybe we shouldn't transform just so we can get another turn with the Gods, because Gogeta is going to do some wild damage, especially if there is a super in slot 1 and we counter. So I think we will just not transform here. So we'll do this, and then, I mean, Gotenks is going to get guaranteed crits. Well, actually, if I do that, he won't get guaranteed crits. So try and do this just to kind of make sure we get another turn. Because Zamasu supers for 4.8 million, but these guys have 2 million defense and guard, and obviously type advantage means they have those extra nodes as well. So yeah, 297. And then there you go, because that's realistically, that's the only attack on the turn that Zamasu can do that actually does damage to us. And that just shows you how crazy the 7 years are, right? Tanking a super that does 4.8 million damage, and they took just under 300k. So they just completely ignored 4.5 million damage of that super attack, which is pretty good. And of course, you know, we're playing just to showcase the trio, because realistically, if we just wanted to win the event as quickly as possible and not care about the next rotation, we just transform them into Gogeta. Chances are he counters that super attack, and then if he didn't counter it, because he gets the 77% damage reduction on his first turn, he would have just taken double-digit damage anyway. So yeah, just these guys are absolutely crazy. They still have the minor weakness of that second turn, but even in this event, we saw that them being in slot 1, like the gods in slot 1, right, on their second appearance, they took 400k, which still a decent amount of damage, but when you consider that bosses that can only super attack once, that's it after that. That's like the most damage they can do to you in the one turn. And then we've got characters like Super Saiyan 4 Goku that will heal us at the start of the turn if we're on lower HP. And of course, the big thing is with these guys that are getting up to these really, really high defense numbers, picking up same type orbs gives us such a ridiculous amount of HP that it's really easy to heal between turns, right? So see what we're looking like on the next turn. I mean, the big thing about the trio, I'm trying to decide whether it's worth getting it in the video here, because the point of the video was to kind of check out how these guys are doing still in the current meta. And using them in their base, giving that support, I think is kind of like the main thing that you're going to use them for. So the question is like, should I use the standby with them? Because the standby ability is obviously very good for making them into a very strong defensive unit. We've got our rotation. I mean, these guys haven't been able to stack as much, but they're still at 2.2 million. In fact, they both are. Nowhere these guys have gotten off the same amount of attacks, right, with these guys being floated, but apparently so. These guys are at 4.2. They do change int orbs to rainbow, so into physical. So I guess what we could do is let's go ahead and do this. Let's get the let's get their standby in here, why not? And then we'll grab all those physical orbs. I'm going to transform one of the gods, because then they'll link up with the other gods and they should have all their links active. So this should be a funky turn. Because the interesting thing about putting these guys into the standby is they lose the guaranteed everybody gets 77% defense. But then depending on how many physical orbs you're actually able to pick up, you could get more. Because it's all allies defense 7% for 2 turns for each physical orb obtained. And then for every key sphere obtained, they get 20% defense. So their whole sort of deal kind of changes, because rather than having the... they still have the defense for every 3 key, but then they're also getting extra defense depending on how many key spheres you pick up. And ideally, you really want them to be at 24 key, because that gives them the 59% damage reduction. So here we can get 13 physical orbs. So that then puts them in a position where they're actually giving more support than their base, because 13 times 7 is 91. So everybody is now getting 91% extra defense. So if we go ahead and transform the gods in the middle here, we'll see what we're looking like for these guys with this extra defense. Their aura is so crazy for this sprite. So 2.3, and we can go ahead and grab... That's 4 rainbows, yeah? So let's grab those. And then I guess we'll just get these for you. But these guys are 864k defense. And bear in mind, what did I say? It's like 240% defense they get when they get hit, because we're at 24 key. So that plus 59% damage reduction and guard. Like, they basically can't take damage. So let's grab those for you. See how we get on here. We've got the AoE this turn, which is a bit annoying from this Zamasu, but... shouldn't be anything that these guys can't handle. The gods will dodge. They're still guarding, so they're fine. And then, yeah, so I mean, I think it's safe to say that these guys, as long as you think about the way that you're using them, are still very capable in the current meta. I think the biggest thing with them is that in their base specifically, they're just not really reliable as a slot 1 tank anymore. But that doesn't mean that they're not a usable unit against some of these difficult fights, right? And now, especially with the 7-year LRs being so good, the gods have such a good leader skill, Power Beyond Super Saiyan and movie heroes. Like, there's only a few of the characters that we would consider the best units in the game that aren't on their team, which, annoyingly, 2 of them are the 10-year Dokkan Fests, right, like the Vegeta and Gogeta. But with both the 7 years on the team, we've already got enough firepower. And then we've got the Super Saiyan 4 Goku, Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks. Like, some of these top tier units in the game are all on this team. And then it gives you 2 gods and the Super Saiyan 4s. So you've got a pretty powerful team overall, and these guys being here, being able to give everyone 77% defense, if you're keeping them on rotation, it just means everyone's getting that every turn, because it's for 2 turns and then they come back again. So it just makes the team incredibly powerful overall. And yeah, the gods doing some decent damage. Obviously the only downside, I guess, for this event is the gods being tech, means we obviously have type disadvantage. I wonder if we don't transform on the next turn here, and then with Gogeta again, right? Because Gogeta we know will do some insane damage, just to kind of make sure we get the active skill, like finish attack with Goku, to see how much damage that would do here, especially considering we have the type advantage. I just need to make sure I pick up as many orbs as possible, like before we use it. So, because we'll put the gods in slot 1, pick up orbs with them, and then use the standby, right? So what are you looking like here? You could use your active skill, but again, we're trying not to do too. I mean, this guy does have 560 million HP, but the Super Saiyan 4s are at 3 mil. How many turns have they been in battle? 7. So they've still got their guard. I mean, obviously they have type advantage anyway, but they've still got their guard here. We know that Goku, we don't need to worry about physical orbs for the next turn, because we won't be picking them up with Goku. So let's do this, do this. We are getting the Dokkan attack here as well. I'll have to make sure we don't hit the nodes for that, but go ahead and grab those. Got 82 orbs here so far. So obviously the gods are taking, the 4s are taking double-digit damage. Goku takes double-digit damage. Even Gohan taking double-digit damage there as well. Gohan's had barely any build-up in this run, so he's obviously not going to look as crazy as he potentially can, but we'll avoid these. I mean, the Super Saiyan 4s could still potentially do a decent bit of damage, because that's the thing, they're stacking attack as well as defense. So it's not like they're hitting like a feather here or anything. But fortunately, Zamasu does have a lot of HP, so it gives us this opportunity to see what these guys can do. And Super Saiyan 4 Goku gets his super off again as well, of course, which means 44% extra attack ready for the standby attack. The gods are going to change orbs again, so in slot 1 we should hopefully be able to get a decent few extra orbs. So hopefully we can get the charge gauge over 100, but we'll see. I'm not sure if it will be enough to finish him off just because of how much HP he has, but then I guess considering that we're still going here. The funny thing is as well, what we will probably be able to do, in fact, because we should drop him below 50% HP with the combo of Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Gohan attacking. So on the next turn, we could, I guess we split it, what we want to do, because if we pick up the orbs with the gods first, we won't be able to do that, but we can essentially use the standby attack with the physical Goku, and then just use the gods active skill, and chances are they probably do 9999 damage, because that's what I'm used to seeing with them, especially the turn after they've got their first attack off, because remember, they do greatly raise attack, massively raise attack for 4 turns. So Zamasu hitting Goku with the super still does double-digit damage. And then Gohan with the 3 mil. I mean, that shows you how good these units are. Right? My Super Saiyan 4 Goku is 55%. And he tanks Zamasu's 4.8 million damage super for double-digit damage. So right, these anniversary units, it's not just Vegeta and Gogeta, right? Like these anniversary units, Goku and Gohan, both very, very good. And we got Gotenks, we still haven't used his active skill. So what do we want to do? We've got 82 orbs. We can get another 6. It's not really a lot. I think we should like just go for it here and see what we can do. So let's go ahead and put the animation on, see how much damage this actually does. Give Super Saiyan 1 Goku the power to defeat Fusion Zamasu. That's kind of close with the hand counter. Yeah. Yeah, 50 mil. No crit, which is annoying, but 50 million is not a lot when the boss has 560 million HP, but there you go. So I guess we'll go ahead and do this. I could have done Gotenks' one first, I guess, would make this one more likely to actually kill, but see how much damage it does here. Now it's Gogeta's turn. Soul Punisher. 74 million crit, okay. Not quite the 999, unfortunately. Do Gotenks as well. Let's just get all the active skills in here. Super Ghost Kamikaze attack. Alright. Big crits. And so now we just do this. There's plenty of ki for you. Grab the physical orbs for you. Yeah, these guys at 3 million defense. Then grab those for you. Alright, so the group attack in slot 1 obviously gets dodged, gets tanked by you. Active skill turn Gotenks obviously going to tank it anyway. And then 37.8 million from the gods. We've got 4 rainbow orbs, so their crit chance isn't quite high here as well. Obviously they get the action break too. They should hopefully crit on all of these attacks here. It's interesting to see, I guess, like with these bosses that have so much HP, you kind of can mess around like this and get to see a lot of the active skills and transformations and stuff like that. So definitely a more fun stage, right? Because this is one that doesn't have like rotation locking and disable dodge and all that horrible stuff. But nice fitting end here that we'll get the trio with their full 24 ki to finish off Zamasu. So let me know what you guys think of the physical trio. Did you get them from the worldwide? Did you get them for the first time from this anniversary? Or maybe like me, you managed to pick up dupes for them for the first time? Let me know your thoughts, but I think they're definitely not done for as of right now. Still usable in the meta, just in a more different role. They're not like a reliable slot 1 tank, but they can still be very good on the team, providing that support. And of course, like I say, they don't have a 220 lead yet. So once they do get one, as long as we can make a build where we're always going to be able to have a movie hero or all-out struggle character on rotation with them, then they should still be a very good, effective like member of that team, right? So let me know what your guys' thoughts are on the physical trio down below in the comment section. Are they a unit that you have kind of never really changed your opinion on? Do you like them a bit more now? Do you like them a bit less? Just let me know down below. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ninja. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.